So, I sometimes suffer from what I can only describe as walking nightmares. Okay, waking nightmares. Now, there's a special medical term for it, but I'm in the middle of nowhere with no internet access, so whatever. I'll wake up and see and hear things that aren't there. Often it will be something on the wall, or someone in bed next to me, or spiders all over the walls, or ghosts flying through my room. It's really freaky, and it's caused more than a few issues with my roommates back at school, but I've learned how to live with it. So Wednesday night I woke up at like 3 a.m. and saw this huge towering black figure at the front of my cabin, just inside the doorway. It was easily 10 feet tall, and in the faint light from outside, it seemed to be weavering back and forth and wearing dark robes that went all the way down to the floor. I couldn't see any face or any body parts at all, but there was a malevolence and evil radiating from this thing. I pulled my blanket tight against myself in a sheer terror, and I pulled myself tight into my blanket in sheer terror and let but a small gasp. The figure's hooded head suddenly turned to me and seemed to look right at me. I tried to say something or even to move, but I was frozen in fear. The thing faced me for another few seconds before backing out of the cabin. I swear I heard the flaps move as it did. My paralysis finally broke, and I jumped out of bed and ran outside, looking for the intruder. There was nothing, just a circle of cabins in the cold, dark night. After a few deep breaths, the cool air woke me up a bit, and I convinced myself that I was just having another waking nightmare. I went back into the cabin and lay down, though it took me a while to fall asleep. The next day, Kate and I spent all the time we could together, to the point where it felt like we were already dating. We just needed to make it official. I saw the opportunity Thursday night. After a 2-hour evening church service, Kate asked me if she could talk to me about something. So we headed down one of the paths leading away from the Great Lodge. She seemed nervous, so I thought I'd break the ice by telling her about my hallucination the night before. As I described it, she slowed her walk down until she came to a complete stop. She looked right at me with wide, fearful eyes. "Do you think it was a demon?" she asked. Her voice was almost shaking. I laughed a bit and said, "No, I think it was just a dream." She grabbed my hands tightly. "You need to be more careful. This place is a battleground for spiritual forces." She let go and turned down the path leading to the girls' cabins, leaving me stunned. I would have chased after her, but that would have broken the camp's cardinal rule. The next day, Kate was almost a totally different person. During our final day of ropes training, she sat as far away from me as possible and only gave me a quick, curt responses to my questions. At the end of the day, we had our graduation ceremony and received personalized carabiners. She gave all the others a tight hug, but just a quick pat on the shoulder to me, and she kept herself surrounded by other counselors, so I couldn't ask her why she was being so distant. I didn't have any chance to talk to her one-on-one like we'd done a dozen times earlier in the week, and by the time the day ended, it was driving me mad. I could feel her soft hands grabbing mine, though I guess I thought the first time we held hands we would be more romantic and not born out of fear and worries of demons and spiritual battles. Seemed so out of character for her. One of the things I liked about her was that she didn't seem to subscribe to all the crazier aspects of the camp's religious beliefs. Her reactions to my dreams said otherwise. It was close to midnight and I was wide awake. I knew I had to talk to her. I quietly climbed out of bed, grabbed my flashlight, and put on my darkest clothes. Then I headed out towards her cabin. Moving through the black forest path, as deftly as I could, and listening for any sounds of other people. I knew I'd be in a lot of trouble if I was caught out here. The path led out of the forest and sloped down the girls' cabins below. I stopped at the top of the hill and looked at them, focusing on hers. It occurred to me that I didn't actually have a plan from here. Kate shared her cabin with a few other counselors, like I did, and I didn't know which bunk was hers. What was I expecting to do? Wake her up and ask her to talk to me? There was a 99% chance that would end with shouting, a few punches, and me being sent home. As I stared at Kate's cabin from the hill, movement beyond it caught my eye. Someone was running through the soccer fields to the north, heading towards the cabins. I could barely make out that person, but I could see their flashlights swinging in their arms as they ran. They were moving at breakneck speed. Maybe someone realizing they'd gone way past curfew? The person got closer, and in the faint of the moonlight I could make out their hot pink t-shirt and the long hair flowing behind them. Oh God, Kate, what was she doing? Kate reached the circle of the cabins, but instead of going in, she cut around them and started running away towards another section to the west. I wanted to call after her, but I knew it would wake up at least a few people. I wanted to chase after her, though I already knew I wouldn't be able to catch her. She was a veteran of this place, and I could barely navigate the forest in broad daylight. Still, I had to try. I took a step and I was about to break off into a sprint when I saw it. Or I think I saw it. It was another figure, moving through the soccer fields towards the cabin. This one was all black, and I had to squint because I honestly didn't know I was truly seeing it, or if my mind's eye was playing tricks on me. The figure, as I saw it, followed Kate's path around the cabins and into the trees to the west, where it promptly disappeared from sight. What on earth? I found myself falling down onto the cool grass, trying to understand what I had just witnessed. For a minute, I wondered if I was currently dreaming up this surreal scene. Why was Kate running? Where was she going? And did I see something chase her? An ear-piercing scream from the woods broke me out of my daze. I jumped up and once again about to start running to the forest when several lights in the cabins came on. Shit. They couldn't see me. I spun around and ran back to the woods and to my cabin. I got back into my sleeping bag and eventually fell asleep. That was last night. This morning Kate wasn't at breakfast, and when I asked the head staff where she was, I was told that she wasn't well and had to go home. Her bunkmates and our fellow ropes instructors couldn't have anything to add beyond that. It seemed like everyone I've spoken to has repeated the line of Kate being not well, and then telling me not to worry about it when I pressed on what was wrong. So that's where things are now, I guess. The campers arrive tomorrow for the first weekly session of the summer. I'm excited to meet the boys in my cabin. When I get the chance, I'm going to explore the forest to the west of the girls' cabins and see if I can find anything about Kate's disappearance. I'll update you again next week when I'm back in town and I'll have cell reception. I'll say this though, I'm unsure about God and I don't really believe in demons, but like I said, there's something weird going on here at Camp Yawania.